After studying pure vowel sounds and diphthongs, we are moving on to consonant sounds. And we're going to work with this wonderful resource designed by the University of Glasgow. The website is www.scenespeech.ac.uk. If you click on it, you'll see that the International Phonetic Alphabet chart is displayed. You've got different symbols there that correspond to the different sounds of the languages of the world. Of course, we'll concentrate on the symbols for the English sounds. And you'll identify these symbols. The plosives p, b, t, d, k, g. Nasals m, n, and n. Fricatives f, v, th, th, s, z, sh, j, and the glottal h. The approximant ya, the lateral and if you go on exploring the chart, you'll see vowels as well. What can we do with this chart? Well, you can choose one sound and click on animation, magnetic resonance image, or ultrasound. In this case, we've chosen animation. That is to say, we'll click on the sound and an animation will pop up displaying how the sound is articulated. And the speaker is Janet Beck. Let's click on P. All right. So we can clearly see how the organs of speech behave. First of all, the soft palate is raised, blocking the entrance to the nose, so the air coming up from the lungs will resonate in the mouth. That's why we say that this sound is oral. And we know that there is no vibration of the vocal cords. So it's voiceless, it's fortis, because we need more muscular effort in its production. So it's voiceless, fortis, oral, because the soft palate is raised. It's bilabial. Why? Look at the lips pressed together, right? Because this sound is articulated at the lips. So again, it's voiceless, fortis, oral, bilabial, and finally we say that it's plosive. Why? Because when the two lips are separated, the air escapes with explosion. That's why we call it a plosive. And all of these features are articulatory features. They are phonetic features. So we say that the P is voiceless, fortis. If it's on the left, it's voiceless. If the sound is on the right, it's voiced. So P is voiceless, fortis, oral, bilabial, plosive. Right. Today we'll focus on plosives. So we'll study the phonetic and phonological features of P, B, T, D, K, and G. What do we mean by phonetic features? Okay, it has to do with articulation, with state of the glottis, breath force, resonance, place of articulation, and manner of articulation. Well, then at home you can explore this chart and you can play with the sounds. All right, let's see. Now let's go on. Okay, this is an image of the chart we just saw, displaying the different symbols for the different sounds. Sorry about that. Okay, we'll start with plosives. P, b, t, d, k, and g. We said that we have to describe state of a glottis, breath force, resonance, place, and finally manner of articulation. What can we say about p? Well, it's voiceless. If you touch your throat, there's no vibration of the vocal cords. Because there's no vibration of the vocal cords, we don't have the support of voice, so we need more muscular effort or breath force in its production. We say it's fortis. We know, as you just saw in the video, that the soft palate is raised, so it blocks the entrance to the nose and the air resonates in the mouth, so it's oral. You also saw that the two lips are the primary articulators. It's bilabial. And it's a plosive. Why is it a plosive? All right, let's see. Why is it a plosive? Because in its production there are 3 stages. First of all, it's produced by a structure of complete oral closure. You could see in the video that there is a complete obstruction at the lips. And there are 3 stages in the production of this sound. Closing stage, hold or compression stage, and release stage. The closing stage, during which the articulating organs move together to form the obstruction. You see how the lips move in order to form the obstruction. Finally, the 2 lips are pressed together. This is the hold or compression stage, during which lung action compresses the air behind the closure. And this stage may or may not be accompanied by voice. And finally, the release stage. The organs forming the obstruction part rapidly and allow the compressed air to escape abruptly with explosion. All right. Again, let's have a look at this animation. Right, let's pause it and then, all right, again. All right, so you could see how the 2 lips are pressed together. This is the hold or compression stage. Before that, you've got the closing stage when the 2 lips come together to form the obstruction. Finally, we have the compression stage because we have the obstruction here at the lips and the air is compressed behind the obstruction. And finally, the 2 lips will part rapidly and allow the air to escape abruptly. That's why it's called plosive. Now, we've analyzed the phonetic features. Now let's analyze the phonological features. Remember, phonology studies how sounds function in a particular language. In this case, it will study how the p is distributed. That is to say, its distribution in the syllable or word. P occurs in all positions in a word. In initial position, pin, pole, initial cluster, spin, pride, pure, play, splash, spray. Remember, a cluster is a combination of 2 or more consonant sounds within the same syllable. For example, in spin, we've got the plosive preceded by another consonant. Pride, the plosive followed by another consonant sound. Right. Medially, appear, rapid. Finally, stop, tip. And in final cluster, stopped, hops, lisps. Final cluster. Look at this cluster made up of 3 consonant sounds, lisps. Now your homework is to think of the phonological features for the other plosives b, t, d, k, g. it's a very easy task because they occur in all positions. You just have to think of examples to exemplify the distribution. Now, we've talked about phonemes p, b, t, d, k, g. And when we introduce them, we use slanted bars because they are phonemes. But when you speak, you don't speak with phonemes. You speak with allophones. We studied at the beginning of the course that allophones are the different realizations of phonemes. And that's how we speak. When you produce these sounds, these phonemes are realized differently in different contexts. These different realizations are called allophones. For example, when the voiceless plosives p, t, and k occur in initial position in a stressed syllable, again, in initial position in a stressed syllable, they are aspirated. For example, Pat took Tom's car. Let's see. We've got voiceless plosives. P, t, t, k. Initially, in stressed syllables. Pat took Tom's car. Okay. Now, the phoneme is p, t, t, k. But the phoneme is abstract. We think in phonemes. When we speak, we produce allophones. Listen. Pat took Tom's car. Pat took Tom's car. When I produce the plosives, I aspirate them because they occur initially in stressed syllables. This aspiration is a puff of air between the release of the plosive and the voicing of the next sound. It's a puff of air that comes out. How can we see this puff of air? Well, take a sheet of paper right now, put it in front of your mouth, close to your mouth, and say, pat, pat, pat. And you'll see that the sheet will move because of the aspiration. So, this allophone we are producing is the aspirated allophone of the plosive p. Remember, the phoneme is abstract. The allophone is what you really produce in this particular context, initially in a stressed syllable. Now, when you show this aspiration, you don't use slanted bars. You use slanted bars for phonemes. What diacritic mark do we use? First of all, a little H, a little raised H to show that aspiration. And we use brackets because we are showing allophones, which are details. So, when we show aspiration, we show that through this little H and brackets. In the book we've included in the platform, we've embedded a video prepared by Dr. Jeffrey Lindsay, and here he explains how to aspirate voiceless plosives. Please watch that video. Let's have a look at some examples. Popular, popular. All right, you see, I'm using brackets because I'm showing allophones. I'm showing the different realizations of this phoneme. Popular. I have two phonemes, here in initial position and this one. Okay, what is different? That this one occurs in a stressed syllable. Pop, popular. This occurs in a weak syllable. And we just saw that if the voiceless plosive occurs initially in a stressed syllable, it's aspirated. So I have to say popular, popular. repeat, repeat.